Was it because of people asking you questions about AI?
In business world, there's three things: know, like, trust.
How do you know so many people, Dan?
Right?
I was a homeless when I was in college. Nobody know who I am, but then now I'm probably like one of the most well-known guy in like AI. When people talk about AI in DFW,
You're gonna need a human that's deployed in the world, a forward deployed human, to
go find
actually
it.
find the problem.
assessment, I'm like, man, what's going on? Am I gonna be left out?
Right.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
You can say that.
And
Something's happening outside. All the kids are playing outside, and I'm stuck inside the office. I'm just like watching everyone have fun.
someone who really truly understand AI are like 1%.
I think the number one thing you can do is to build. Ignore all the hype and the noise.
And let people imagine what else they can use you for. Like the movie Inception. You want to plant that idea in their head. Welcome to Test Kitchen Podcast. My name is Dan Sinawat. I'm a founder and CEO of AI Connects and VC Arena. My goal is just to make Dallas the AI capital of the world and also VC capital of the world.
What's up? I'm Shaw. I teach people AI, and welcome to the Test Kitchen Podcast.
All right. We got Dan. We have Shaw. What's up, guys? How are y'all doing today?
Not too bad. Chill
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday
Yeah.
morning. You guys woke up early.
Always
to come.
good to hang out with you and you, man. You guys are like good friends. So
I know, right? It's funny how I met you, Dan. Actually, both you guys. Like before I met both of you, someone told me, "Hey, you should meet Dan." And the same thing for you. Like,
Oh, really?
Someone that I actually never met in real life. What's her name? Sonali. Do you know? You remember Sonali?
Oh, yeah,
She
yeah.
was like, "You need to meet Shaw. Like, you guys are both in AI." And then for you, Dan, somebody was like, "Hey, you need to meet Dan." And then I went to an event, and I think I pitched at one of your events.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
nice.
right.
It was
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of got you started with the whole networking? I mean, you do so much stuff now, but when I first met you, you were like a networking guy,
Yeah.
How do you know so many people, Dan?
right?
What's your secret?
Just showing up, right? Showing up is half the battle. That's what I tell all the founder and everybody in any business, actually. Just showing up, if people in business world, there's three things: know, like, trust.
Mm,
And that's it. I mean, if you don't show up, who's gonna know you? Showing up in real networking event or showing up on social media, you gotta show up, right? So for people to know you, then from there they gotta like you,
Don't be an asshole.
right?
Can I say that?
you can say that.
And at the end they're gonna do business with you only if they trust you.
Yeah.
So for me, I just have to, like when I first started my business, I just showing up everywhere. Nobody know who I am. But then now I'm probably like one of the most well-known guy in like AI. When people talk about AI in DFW, they know me and, and I start from zero. Like really, I moved here from Singapore to Dallas 5 years ago. I don't think anybody knows me, and then I just started doing this last
You're
year.
in the VC arena.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also AI Connects. Well, I started AI Connects like right around January 2024. Before that, I was doing some, IT consulting. But with this AI revolution happened, I'm like,
Right.
I'm
Fuck
gonna,
this.
I know, right? Like, let's
I
just
say
go
that?
all in on
Say
AI.
that.
Why not? And then, switch my name to AI Connects.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
just, from there, just focus on that one thing and showing up. Yeah.
So it was from the IT consulting that you started AI
Yeah.
Connects. Was it because of people asking you questions about AI or yeah?
Yeah. And then I start to see like, oh, everybody around me, my friends are starting their own AI companies,
Right.
AI data center business, AI investment. I'm like, man, what's going on? Am I gonna be left out?
Right.
Yeah. And then I start to realize this AI revolution is happening, and I missed out on internet revolution. Probably like I was too young. Like probably
yeah.
all of us here
right.
were too young, right? And then crypto boom happened.
Man,
Still, we're not like, I don't have enough money to spend on this, like, digital coin. I'm like, what's going on? And missed that too, and now AI revolution happened. I'm at the right age, like 40 something.
Right.
I know enough people. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
You're
might as well give
like
it a try.
you're like I've seen this before. This time I'm not gonna miss this.
Yeah.
How did you get started in AI, Shaw?
Well, I was in grad school and I was doing research. I was we were doing like applied physics research, but the research we were doing involved machine learning, data-driven models, and things like that. So that was like the first time I was training machine learning models and getting into AI. And then from there, I went kind of down the typical route of getting a job at a company. So I was working at Toyota as a data scientist, and there was building these credit risk models, which is using a specific kind of machine learning there. And then I maybe kind of similar to Dan, it's like something's happening outside. All the kids are playing outside, and I'm stuck inside the office. I'm just like watching everyone have fun. And I was just very curious about large language models because it really has introduced a new type of AI. So the original type of AI was we a lot of people wouldn't even call it AI today. It's just programming computers to do things for us, So like Andre Karpathy calls it software 1.0. And so it's just writing programs, expert systems. This is like what people on Wall Street were doing. They were codifying their financial knowledge to make stock picks and things like that. So those were the early success of AI in business. And then came machine learning. So you don't have to meticulously, code the logic of how to make decisions or solve problems into the computer with code. You just give the computer data and allow the computer to figure out for itself, what decision to make or how to solve the problem. But now with large language models, you can basically program the computer with English. So it's built on top of this data from the internet. And you just tell it what you want, and it kind of just magically works. And so that's kind of created this whole new flavor of building AI systems. And I just felt like I was missing out. So 2 years ago, well, I guess a little more than 2 years ago now, I left that job just to, you know, go in making content. I did a bit of AI consulting for a bit, and then I kind of settled on focusing on AI education. And so I've been doing that for I have a B2C offer, so I have a 6-week boot camp that I'm teaching right now, and then I also do for companies when they want to do like private AI trainings. I do that as well. So that's been the journey so far.
Wow. Okay. So everyone has a different story, but kind of a similar pattern, which is a little bit crazy. Speaking of that, I've always wondered, how did you guys meet? I've seen you guys like together on social media. Was it through the AI Connects or was it?
You posted about the Texas training program, and I DM'd him, and I was like, "This is super interesting. Like, where's the website? I just wanted to learn more about it." And then I don't know, maybe like you said, come meet up at my office in Frisco. I was like, okay. So we like met up, and Ben was there, and we're just chatting and drinking coffee, which was cool.
Yeah, I know.
You showed up,
Yeah.
and now he
Yeah.
likes you and trusts you, right?
Right. Because it's hard to find someone who actually understand AI. Like a lot of people are now start, saying they're AI consultant, they're AI trainer, but someone who really truly understand AI are like 1%. And I think Shaw is one of them, right? Like to explain AI in a very simple way, meaning you really have to have a deep understanding. And we're the same. Like for us, AI consulting is really focusing on 95% business and 5% technologies.
Yeah.
Like we don't go in and talk to customer LM,
You can't say that word.
right? Blah 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 blah
Right.
technology jargon, right? To them, it means nothing. Like at the end, the customer care about, hey, how do I improve my EBITDA? What would it do to my margin? How can I, reallocating my resource? And again, people don't understand that AI is not about like just reducing cost. Right? When we go and we're talking about how we reallocating the costs and resources to something that would help them with revenue generation. If you save time here, well, then that time should be put back into generating more proposal, getting more sales.
Right.
That's all it matter at the end for the business, right? So again, focusing on that business side require a lot of understanding in that particular domain. And we really focusing on a few area, even consulting, because it takes so much time to really understand,
For
right?
sure.
Like logistic, manufacturing, construction, right? a lot of that takes time, but we have gained a lot of domain expertise in that area.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys get the question, how do I get into AI? Do people ask you those types of questions?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if someone's asked me that question specifically, which is actually kind of surprising. But I feel like people are, I think everyone's already getting into AI. If you've used ChatGPT, you're kind of getting into AI. And I guess it means different things to different people. But I would say that a good entry point these days is the same for everyone, which is to just use the tools. It's more accessible than ever. Like before, you need to kind of, bang your head against a textbook or YouTube videos, and like trying to understand what a neural network is, or whatever that is. But now you just use ChatGPT and you kind of get an intuition of what is AI, and then you can kind of pursue your curiosity and use it to do things that are helpful to you and valuable to you. And I think that's the best starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got a lot of like these kind of question from students, like, oh, how do I go, work in like AI field or something? And I always tell them that right now, unless you're like a researcher or like really expert in something, it's hard to like really get a real like an AI job in OpenAI or like this
Oh yeah.
infrastructure fundamental or like foundation model kind of thing, right? So what they should do is really be, more on domain expert in certain field. Like, I don't know, company like Palantir, right? They have this role called forward deployed engineers. That role in itself is just in such a high demand because it requires a lot of the domain expertise to bridge the gap between business and technology. And what I tell the student is to pick a field and go run with it, and get a little bit of deeper understanding. How do you solve things for logistic? How do you solve things for
Yeah.
construction? That is more meaningful than they go out and learn coding and all this. Like, I mean, it's good to know that basic fundamental, but then beyond that, they need to pick a field to be.
I feel like it's on a spectrum. So on one end, you need two ingredients to create value with AI. You need the domain expertise in the problem to solve and the understanding of the problem. You also need an understanding of the technology and how to implement your solution and understand what level of sophistication do I need for this problem. So making that prescription of you can just solve that with ChatGPT. You don't need to build a custom tool. It's like, oh, you can use like a off-the-shelf workflow thing like N8N, and that's fine. Or no, you need to really take the time and do a custom build because you don't want to get this wrong. It's like, whatever it might be. So these are the two ingredients, and it's on a spectrum because, some people might be more toward the domain expertise. They don't really know how to code, but they really understand industry well. The other side is people really understand AI, but they don't have like a really deep expertise in any one industry. And the beauty of it is that no matter where you are on the spectrum now, it's never been easier to fill in your gaps. If you're technical, you can be very pedantic and very annoying and ask ChatGPT a lot of questions and have it do research for you to understand an industry and give you, just be support and give you that confidence to start learning logistics or start to learn healthcare, start to learn some of these industries, or how to reach out to people to learn about these industries. Or if you're a domain expert, like just in my last cohort, I had a creative director. She was a theater director and she didn't know how to code, but she was building like AI things and she was very curious. So now she's kind of learning about the technology and learning just enough of what she needs to take her abstract ideas and make them into real applications, So I don't know. I just feel like it's a very exciting time because bridging that gap was very hard, like just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But now it's super easy.
Yeah, it's true.
We're not
It's
super easy,
crazy.
but it's easier than ever.
Like everything is accelerating. It's almost like when the internet first came out, it was like on a 10-year horizon. And now it feels like it's on like a less than 5-year horizon. And I feel like in the future it's only gonna get faster and faster. Like are you guys seeing that with the world? Like do you have any predictions on like where society is going? Because for me, for just one example, the way that I used to program when I first started my career is completely different from how I program now. Like I interact more with the stakeholders, the people on the business side, but the coding is much. It's not as hard as what it used to be. I used to have to code things by hand, go to Stack Overflow, look for like the tiniest thing and like test and test and test. But now I can just say, hey, cursor, like where's the bug, and it will find it like faster than me going on Stack Overflow. And that like just the way that I work has changed completely. But do you guys see any other shifts in like your personal lives or just kind of where society is going? That's a big question with a lot of tangents.
Well, like exactly like what Shaw was saying, right? It's easier now to applying AI into the business, and then the hard part is to figure it out what's matter for the business, right? So, and that's why we need to really have it's easier to tell whether you have passion for it or not, right? Like, even for student, I tell them like, you're gonna go study all this coding, but what for? What are you gonna trying to solve, right? You need to understand that, but then you also need to find a way to dive deep into something, and at the end, it's easier now to see whether you have the passion to solve something.
Right.
That passion is super important now in the age of AI, right? Because you need to like, it's not only the coding, but you need to understand even macroeconomic standpoint. What's matter for that business, right? Like, how do they even make money? Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of people don't even ask that question.
Right.
Right? How are you even gonna solve their problem if you don't understand how they're making money, right? So what's matter for them is, it's all gonna become very important, and that's why, like having that domain expertise, technical expertise, and that's almost like the job of forward deploy engineer in a way,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I think, and then you're gonna see more and more of AI adoptions happen quicker with that. Like you said,
Yeah.
like creative director, that's the right people that we want to have. Is someone who's have that domain expertise, but super interested in applying technology to solve a pain point, right? Because she would be able to tell me, what that pain point means to her and quantify that. I always want to quantify that problem. Like, is it $100 million problem? $1 million problem? Are we gonna throw $2 million to solve $1 million problem, or $100 million problem, right?
Yeah.
That question can only be answered by people that actually understand what it means in the business for her. And it's real world example. Like, some of the customer that we talk to in like e-commerce, they told me that they spent $10 million on personalization projects, right? To give out, maybe like certain suggestion so that it will improve their, net new revenue. I think they end up with 10% increment in net new revenue, right? And then they took that and showed it to the CEO. Do you know what the CEO said?
What
He
do you
was
say?
excited.
No. It's like, fuck that, Why did you spend my $10 million on this?
How big was the
It
business?
depends on the 10%.
Like, Fortune 500 company, right? But then he's like, you know what? I could have just release 10% coupon, 20% coupon, and get the exact same thing with no money spent. Like, a lot of time technology is good, sexy, but if you never actually understand business, you may just doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of time that is super important.
Yeah.
And it'll be even more important now because you can create prototype quicker, right? So you can test out that ROI even with small amount of money. Right? That's gonna be even more important.
Yeah, that's the big thing, because like for these, building a AI model in a business used to mean collecting a bunch of data, training a neural network, not just a neural network. You're doing many experiments and you're trying to refine it and build these very sophisticated systems. And you'd have to have all that talent in-house to do it. You basically have like a little ML team, little group of like even researchers working at your company. And just the cost for that was high, so it was very inaccessible to smaller businesses. It was like Fortune 500 companies, actually maybe like the technology companies for sure had ML teams, but like the smaller companies, it was very sparse. But now, because the cost of building a prototype is so low, and you can test very quickly, it's becoming more accessible. It's cheaper for businesses to actually try to implement AI solutions. And now you don't have to build specialized models to solve your problems. You can use these general purpose models like, GPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever it is, to just get like a initial version out to see how well that works. So yeah, it's a very exciting time for sure. But I guess your question on like the acceleration, I would say the biggest impact it's had on my work personally is AI coding, which I think is one of the best use cases right now, generating the most economic value, just helping people code faster. And I think that's going to be a roadmap for a lot of other areas. Like the coding agents are laying the foundation for this is how you should develop other types of agents. And even like the play that OpenAI and Anthropic are going after is that they're saying, hey, we're building these general purpose agents. Like you ask someone at Anthropic, it's not Claude Code isn't a coding agent. It's a general purpose agent that just happens to be really good at coding, but they're expecting people to build more specialized agents on top of Claude Code, which is a great business model because they eat up a lot of tokens.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I see they even released like a finance or financial model
Okay.
and many others. So now you can even like use it to do some of that
Yeah.
on Claude and many others. So yeah.
Things are moving pretty fast.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I think about like what are we gonna do as humans? Like I'm like, if the AI can do all of this, from my perspective, I think it's just gonna end up just being who's the most creative, like who can be closer to the problem. It's like who's gonna win.
Yeah. At the end, it's about what can we solve and the outcome at the end. One of the startup that I'm an advisor for called Blue Core, it's like I didn't realize that something simple like this app, which is an AI job marketplace for blue collar worker, could make an impact. What he's creating is Indeed and LinkedIn for blue collar worker. Imagine blue collar worker, skilled worker who's in high demand, especially in Texas, right? We're building data center and everything everywhere, right? But they're not in any database. They're not like us. They're not on LinkedIn right? So how do we find them? So, and they don't even know how to be found. So we created this platform that all you need to do for the candidates is just call this one phone number or go to this website called jobseeker.bluecore.ai and start talking to AI. And after 15 minutes, it gives you a resume. And it create you a digital profile. Imagine impact that it would have for all these blue collar workers, right? That now they never had a resume before.
Oh, I like that. So it helps them make the resume, and then it puts them into this database, and then job seekers or like recruiters will go on this database.
Or employer.
And then I don't know, maybe not to get too much in the weeds, but what's the model? Are you charging on the like a placement fee or like
we're just charging
membership?
the employer like Indeed to list how many jobs is how
Gotcha.
much, right? It's very simple, but then the
But that
candidate
intake was the kind of the
right,
the game changer.
right, exactly. Applying technology for the right usage. This is like big to me. He's building the database of blue collar worker.
Yeah.
Imagine millions of people now gonna be on this platform like LinkedIn, right? And now they can be found. So it's really helping them. Like we are working. I was at the homeless shelter for women and children yesterday, teaching them about this. We are working with prison fellowship group, veteran association, refugee camp. All these people who doesn't even speak English can speak in 30 different languages into this AI. And at the end, it gives you an English resume. Build your profile. Now you can be matched with job, right? Now you're doing something for humanity. For the first time in, I don't know how many years I have seen this AI revolution happen. But when you talk about AI, it feels cold and like a machine,
robotic,
right? For the first time, I feel like, wow, we are connecting innovation with humanity with this app. Imagine if, what we are trying to do, our mission is within the holiday, if we can help some of the second chance worker landing the job with this AI platform, getting their first paycheck to buy a Christmas present for their son or daughter for the first time in I don't know how many years, right? That's what we live for. That's what innovation is about, right? Now, AI actually doing something meaningful.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
feel like this is what gets me excited. Like it's never been more accessible to bring your ideas to life, to unleash your creativity, kind of to your point. And this is a great example because what percentage? So imagine the people who know how to build applications, build websites, build an intake form like the one you're describing, and the percentage of people that know that this blue collar thing is a problem. That those two populations, that Venn diagram probably doesn't have a whole lot of overlap,
Right.
but it doesn't necessarily need to now that like AI is a thing that you can. Someone who has a deep understanding of this problem can it's more accessible for them to create like an initial version or even turn it into a proper business, and have like a working application. So before, if you had a business idea or you had like a problem you're trying to solve with technology, the barriers to entry were so significant. You'd have to be like an engineer, a full stack engineer, or a machine learning engineer, or whatever it is. And most people don't have that skill set or even want to learn that skill set. But now all the walls have just come down thanks to AI, and it's not going to give humans less things to do. It's actually giving us more opportunities to do things. So, sure, we will lose jobs, there will be automation, but at the same time, people will be unleashed and they'll be able to take their passions and pursue them seriously. You don't have to kind of stick to this path of, yeah, you got to go to college and check that box, and then you got to go get a corporate job and check that box and fill into one of these slots where you're doing tedious work that is not meaningful to you. Like, you can do that path if that's what the path you want to go down, but there are other options now because you have access to technology that allows you to bring your ideas to life.
So, devil advocate on that point. I'm an AI optimist, so I kind of agree with you on that point. It's like it's going to enhance humanity, but I also think or wonder, do you think that because the barrier of entry has like kind of gone down, is going to increase competition? Because now everyone, like every resume is perfect, everyone knows everything now. Like, you think that that's also going to have like the opposite effect, where it's like it's harder now because everyone can do everything?
Well, I feel like the barriers to entry come down, but the number of opportunities is not going to be fixed. I think the number of opportunities will grow faster than like the kind of the lever of like barriers coming down, competition increasing. But it's like I've always had this vision because I'm a drummer. I wanted
Okay.
to build an application that would design the optimal geometry of a room for some purpose, like to minimize sound or to have a certain sound distribution and have like a certain tone or whatever it is. Basically, you can mix the sound with the geometry of the room and kind of do in the simulations and things like that. Who else in the world wants, because you have to be so specific, you basically have to be me to have that
Yeah,
problem.
I
So if
play the
you
drums, so I understand it.
so if you kind of realize that everyone is an individual and they have individual problems, like, you know if this was 100 years ago, there's no shot. There's no shot that I'm going to
Yeah.
even build anything like this. Maybe if there's computers and programming, it's like, okay, maybe if I have like 10 years to dedicate to this, I can. But like, what are the odds I'll have 10 years to just like blow on a project like that? But now the amount of time it'll take to actually go from 0 to 1 and that idea is going lower and lower and lower. And it's going to go so much so that I can have these very specific problems that only I'm the only person in the world with this problem, and I can go to 0 to 1 in a weekend.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's just giving me something to do, And then maybe if it works out and other people have this problem, it could blossom up into a business, or it could just be something I release to the world and say, here's a gift for humanity. And
Hmm.
I think I guess that's at least my vision of what I expect to happen in the future. Uh, you know, because this barrier to entry is coming down, these more and more micro problems and pains are going to be solved, by the people who care about them.
Mm.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And like just like this Blue Core platform, it was built in one day. But for especially the job seeker site
Right.
thing, the co-founder, who's my friend Keita, he lives in New York. He was in butcher shop, and then one guy came up to the owner and said, "Hey, bro, you got any job for me?" And the owner's like, "No, get out. I don't have anything." And then my friend start asking him like, "Hey, why are you looking for job this way? And don't you use Indeed?" And he's like, "Yeah, I use Indeed, but I never get any hit." I'm like, "Okay, show me your resume." He's opened up the phone, open up Snapchat app. In the camera roll of Snapchat ad, there's a physical picture of his resume
Oh.
from 5 years ago, and he was electrician. And he's like just walking around in the butcher shop looking for a job. I'm like, man, this is broken. So he asked like, "Hey, what if you can talk to an AI and it create your resume? Would you like to do that?" It's like, yeah. So he went home, built it in a day, and then gave him a try, and it worked. And he's like, "Yeah, wow, that's amazing." And posted his resume, and he got a job as electrician.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
wow.
And now we see like, something like that. Sometimes people don't, when you're not out there on the field, like again, showing up or just,
Yeah.
seeing the real world, then you can't really solve the real world,
Right.
And same thing with like homelessness, right? I was a homeless when I was in college, I used to work in school, but summertime there's no work for me. So I got no money to pay for room. So I gotta put my stuff in the locker somewhere, go stay at my friend couches. I don't have, enough money to go pay for food. So, it's a struggle. People don't know homelessness is
Yeah.
it's everywhere, right? And then, I didn't know about food stamp until I struggle into it because I came from Thailand. Nobody know about all these programs that available in the
right.
US, right? So it would have helped me when I was younger if I had all this information
Right.
feeding to me. So now not only finding people job, the second phase of this Blue Core is to feeding them with additional information that help them staying in the job. There's free bus ticket from DART. People don't know. There's free daycare that people can leverage. Free housing out there that support low income family to continue on with their work. So now we can use technology the right way, right? After they get the job, maybe AI can call up and follow up. Hey, how's your first day, second day?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great, but my car broke down. I can't get to work. Oh, have you ever looked into this program that give you free bus ticket? See? Right? Oh, I have kids, but I don't have a place to put them, so I can't go to work. Right? See, all these little thing, it
Right.
help. But unless you really in it, you don't know what kind of problem people have.
Right.
So again, it's about knowing the business, knowing really dive
What's-
deeper into that problem.
And I guess that's the part where it's going to be very hard or the last thing that you automate because AIs don't have preferences, they don't have passions. It's just predicting what comes next. So you're going to need a human that's deployed in the world, a forward deployed human to
go find
actually
it.
find the problem, identify the problem, and then kind of decide that, okay, let's use this tool to apply it, to this problem to see if what solutions we can create.
Right.
And then iterate on the solution because, there's like a million ways you can solve any problem, but finding the right problem that's the right solution for that problem that makes sense for that customer in that context, whatever it is, it's going to be different.
So two questions. One on the technical side, one on the business side. How can people stay ahead of the curve? Like, what would you suggest for someone who, probably Shaw, you probably the technical side, probably Dan, you're the business side.
Yeah.
What would you suggest for someone who like just wants to stay ahead, or just like be on alert for what to get into next?
Well, to me, from a business standpoint, it's really product market fit, right? Finding your product market fit early on, like this Blue Core, we found the product market fit now, right? But then there's so many other startup out there that I've seen, like through VC Arena, it's a community of founder and investor, and that's why I created it because, you go, there's a lot of events in Dallas or anywhere in the world, but what happened the next day? nothing, right? Nobody really engaging the next day. I mean, we rarely see each other in person, right? So that's why I created this community. And then figuring it out, the product market fit is the most important thing for all the business. Doesn't matter you're tech startup or retail shop or anything, right? Because if there's someone willing to pay for your services or your product, then there's a point of your business. People don't really try to figure it out that early on. One of the guy that I like recently is the founder of Cluely. I don't know if you've seen Cluely, the app.
The glasses that read the words for you.
Well, it's kind of like the app that the AI that help you cheat on everything.
Oh,
The guy that
okay.
created
It's
the
like
app
the young kid.
yes,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I think I
yeah,
remember that.
right. He created the app to help people cheat on interview,
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right.
but he went viral
Yeah.
because of that. But it's so simple, right? Like his tagline is AI that help you cheat on everything. He landed like maybe 100 million ARR contract from a B2B sales company because it helped sales team cheated when they on a live call,
Right.
Oh, okay. So
right?
you kind of built with one audience in mind, and then it kind of got picked up by a whole new market. So
Yeah.
that's super interesting.
Yeah, because it's proven that product market fit, proving that virality is a product. That's what he said. But if you really look deeper in that message, virality is a product market fit in a way, right? Because it went viral. People see that the need for it, the usage, or the use case at the end,
Right.
right? That makes sense. You only need to be good at one thing. You
Right.
don't want to be best at everything because you know you're nothing, right? So you want to be good at one thing and let people imagine what else they can use you for.
Yeah.
Like the movie Inception. You want to plant that idea in their head so
Yeah.
that they can think further for themselves. I'm all like I'm been in doing sales forever. The best methodology that I found was called spin selling, SPIN, spin selling. It's similar to the way Inception movie work. Is to ask question and plant that idea in their head so that they can repeat and saying yes and actually giving you the answer for that themselves. I'm not giving them the answer. I ask the question so that they give me the answer so that the answer become theirs. So same thing as this,
Yeah.
right? Virality, same thing as this product market fit. The most important thing is that, right? For the business, any business, is to find that product market fit.
What you just said slapped me because you don't need to be good at a lot of things. You need to be really good at one thing. That's something I didn't learn early enough because I was doing way too much when I first left my role at Toyota to kind of go out on my own as an entrepreneur. I was doing everything. So I had a podcast, I was doing consulting, I was making YouTube videos, I was writing blog posts, I was posting on LinkedIn, I was basically any opportunity that came to me, I was like, yeah, I can do that. It's like, oh yeah, and I also have a community. It was just way too confusing. And when people are confused, they move on. They ignore you. You don't get people's attention. But if you can be memorable about one thing, then people start to get the right idea about you. And so that's why I've been kind of narrowing my focus to just AI education and then trying to get even more focused within that realm as well. Because when people have that seed of an idea about you, that impression's like, oh, Shaw's that AI education guy. And they'll forget about it. And then 6 months later, they're talking to their boss and they're like, we're having a real problem with AI enablement. Like people are just not using the tools that we have available to them. It's like, okay, what's the problem? It's like, they just don't understand how it works. It's like, oh, I know one guy that could help. And then they think about me, or they come across one of my YouTube
That's
videos.
actually a real use case because I share your YouTube videos with people when
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, I want to learn something. I'm like, yo, go look at
Exactly.
Shaw's
So
channel.
people like to have like that go-to guy. I feel like Dan is the kind of guy who's a guy for everything. It's like, oh, you need to ship something to Dubai. I got a guy. You want to get like exotic racing dogs. I know a guy, kind of thing. So you want to be the guy for something. That
Right.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But I guess to go back to your original question, like, so what advice would I give someone on like they're trying to stay ahead on AI? And I guess I'll answer it from like the more technical side. So if you're like an engineer and you're trying to keep up, I think the number one thing you can do is to build. That's the only way you can stay closer to the truth and ignore all the hype and the noise, because there is a lot of hype and noise, and a tool comes out, everyone's talking about it for 2 weeks, and then it goes nowhere because no one cares about it. But if you're building stuff, you're involved in the reality of, is this tool helpful for me or not? And you kind of understand, what kernel of truth is in the hype and what is just things you should ignore.
Right.
So if you are an engineer, and you're trying to improve your technical chops and stay up to date and on the cutting edge of AI, I would say just build as much as possible. Build a project every week, or even more if you have the time.
Yeah. I love
Project
that.
every week. That's an ambitious. Actually, it's possible these
No,
days.
you can do it every day.
Honestly, yeah, you really can. Yeah. All right. This has been a great podcast,
Yeah, it was
honestly. Like,
fun.
I need to have you guys back. And before we go, where can the world find you guys? What do you offer? Just, plug yourself.
Just look for Dan Sinawat. I'm probably the only Dan Sinawat in the world. The only Dan Sinawat on LinkedIn. Once you find Dan Sinawat,
Yeah.
you find the rest about me. So
That's cool. I think I'm also the only Shah Talebi in the world. So if you search me on Google, you'll find me. But probably the best place is YouTube. Got a bunch of free videos on AI, and also my journey on trying to figure out entrepreneurship, learning all the skills Dan has, all the non-technical business skills.
I think this is the best combination. Like, business plus tech, put you two together, then that's the next company right there.
Yeah, and we're not so far at the extremes where we can't talk to each other, because
There's
I think
overlap.
that's another thing that can't work. Like if someone is too business and like they don't understand technology, or someone's too technical and you can't talk to them, it's not going to work. You need kind of people in the middle that balance each other out, whether it's a podcast or a business or whatever it is.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's like I saw a Venn diagram. It was like the hipster, the hacker, and the hustler. And like that makes the perfect combination for like, the company.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Which one of us is the hipster, hacker, hustler? Dan's the hustler for sure.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I'm probably the hipster. You're probably the hacker.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
But
Great fit.
yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until then, we'll see you on the next one.